in anything you do, knowledge and experience becomes wisdom.
Hmm.
I think he was lacking the wisdom. I think he has a full, but he was fully aware of being attacked.
Right.
Now, Democrat or Republican, I'm neither nor because the way it broke down. I hope he has the strength, and I pray that he is, and I will think he will to unite this country. What bigger prejudice? You have prejudices within prejudice, and then you break it down to the Democratic and Republican Party. Uh, I agree. I'm a middle of the road guy, but it makes sense. I don't care if girls want to be a boy wants to be a girl, a guy's home. I don't care. None of that bothers me. But a 13-year-old cannot make up their mind to have surgery. It's self-mutilation. Those kids go through their rebellious years. And to say you take it out of their parents' hands is completely ludicrous.
Yeah.
There's an immigration problem in this country that's overwhelming. Now, here's the way I break it down to the family unit. It's a good comparison. Okay. My father was my father. I listened to him. Or I should. My mother was my mother. I hear this world. And the family unit has broken down. No doubt. The church has dropped the ball, the Catholic Church. The Archdiocese is just abomination of what they've done to children. And they allowed it to happen. And they knew it was going to happen. It's almost like they're right. It's sick. Let's get off that point. Let's go back to the family unit. So God is our main father. And most of the rational world would agree. Would you agree?
Yes. Yes.
Under him is your father. You grew up with him. That's the values. My values didn't fall out of the sky. They were instilled in me.
Mm-hmm.
Through my education in Catholicism and what my father's and mother's teachings were. Okay. Now, after that, isn't the president like our father amongst that, the father of our country, like George Washington?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't question as much as the average person, but I analyze. You know, your father, sometimes my father, forget about it. To me, the things I seen him doing, I know a lot of things about they blamed him for. They just go, especially those ridiculous Johnny come latelys. My biggest problem, and you've heard me say this about podcasters, you've heard me say this about the media, and you've heard me say this about TV and movies. They rewrite history and people believe it's tremendous power. There's an obligation to tell the truth. Okay. Now let's move forward to Donald Trump and the assassination. Fired the head of the FBI without a compunction. Got rid of him. Am I a big fan of the FBI? It has very valuable use. What has some areas done to Italians? Some deserved it, some didn't. The RICO law is definitely unconstitutional. They did to me because I was the son of Joe Colombo. Elliot Spitzer wanted to go from attorney general to governor. And I had a federal prosecutor that was the worst in the world. Vicious. Never tried a case. Not saying he can't try a case. He lost to me, but then they pulled him out when he was losing so bad. But pre-trial, this man came after me with a vengeance because he wanted to make the name to make the guy that Joe Colombo son. At the end of the day, I was a gambler. Mm-hmm. And the jury saw it that way. They served search warrants on me in 2001 after a 3-year-long investigation. The investigation continued. They kicked down 20 doors. Some were sports offices. Rest was, I think there was a home improvement company. That was my company. There was a restaurant, a couple of restaurants, a mortgage company. You know, I'm good with finance. Right. That's why I took to sports. It's a number. And I was doing very well. They never used any of that. They came in with guns drawn, machine guns, shotguns, guns, cameras, things. We're 180 agents in this house. Prior to that, it was an extraction team that came in. They jumped out of helicopters with machine guns. They're crazy. Kicked the door down. It was open. They closed it, knocked it down. Lasers put them to my head. Are you crazy? We were talking about sports.
This is the home that I was in, that I visited you in.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. So moving forward, I know what it's like to have a long fight. And I did. I'll give you a quick story. And I just so I could sympathize with the pressure that Donald Trump has been under. Now, never mind being responsible for a nation, never mind inflation, never mind the borders, never mind Senate, never mind Congress, never mind the needs of the people, never mind Russia, never mind war, never mind that crazy guy with his finger on the button with a bomb. There's a lot of pressure. who's your ally? Okay. Well, I watched how he handled the pressure, and they would wait. And I think he has a handle on what people do. I don't like social media. I don't use it too much, so Anthony handles it. I'm just dumb at it. Plus, so they make me wait 3 years. Everybody I wrote a check to, everybody I talked to, got a subpoena, got their doors kicked in. It was the most horrible thing you ever saw. They make me wait 3 years to arrest me. They come back, arrest me. I was somewhere else. They came here early in the morning. I get a 911 beep. I see it's my home number. I was worried about the kids. What's happening? FBI agent gets on the phone. Says, Chris, we have an old case here. It's 3-4 years old. He says, you plan to come home? I said, of course. This is where I am. I says, why don't you let me meet you at FBI headquarters? Not even FBI headquarters. You don't go there. Federal Plaza. He says, well, we really need to bring you in. I said, all right. I said, but I'm a distance. It'd be shorter if we met. No, we'll wait. So I drive. I come home. Very nice gentleman. And he says, this is an older warrant. There's no violence in this case. He says, it's a gambling case, but it's a RICO. I says, yeah, I know. I expected it coming. They came out Elliot Spitzer and whatever. So state troopers put the cuffs behind my back. He comes in the car. He says, cuff him in the front. Says, I'm not worried about him. So he gets in the front. We're talking on the way down, and I'm talking about food and cars and whatever, trying to talk him into stop to eat because I know I'm not eating. And those bologna sandwiches are terrible. Not good food, but they are. So he says, why do you want to eat so bad? I says, I'm not coming home. What do you mean you're not coming home? I said, I'm not coming home. They're going to hold me without bail as a danger. He says, Chris, on this case? He looked at me, he started laughing. I said, all right. So then we started talking about other things. I says, you sure you don't want to stop and pipe this coke because we went that way and get a cheeseburger? Sure enough, he's at my bail hearing. Now, I was using Barry Slotnick, my father's attorney. What happened to this guy, I don't know. And we knew it was coming. The whole office had laryngitis. It was something out of My Cousin Vinny. When the guy stutters, these guys had laryngitis. All he's got to say to the most liberal magistrate in the federal system is he does not meet the criteria of the Bail Reform Act of no bail for violence. My bail wasn't about running away. They knew I was going nowhere. It was about violence, danger to the community, dangerous. The FBI agents looking at me. They denied me bail, and then you get one more hearing. So you can't take your jewelry. I wear Our Lady of Fatima because it has diamonds. If it had no diamonds, I could wear it in. Because in jail, it could be drugs, could be used as a weapon or significant money. I'm not only to promote jealousy, and I had a St. Jude with the same diamonds. Right? I used to wear 2 medals. I gave one St. Jude patron saint of impossible causes. If that ain't me, nobody is. So I gave it to my son. So the FBI agent says, so I give him my medals. I said, would you make sure this gets to my attorney? He says, Chris, you have my word. I give it to him. He says, I'm sorry about this. No, don't be sorry about it. I expected it. He says, I didn't. But if you would have heard what they said in that bail hearing, all right, but prior to coming into the bail hearing, did you ever see Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, yeah.
The way they brought me in, the only thing that was missing was that mask. And they had guys with guns on me. They told the magistrate, do you want us to build a bulletproof pre-Barara? Says, do you want us to build a bulletproof glass between you and him? I looked at him. We're going to shoot him with my nose. I said, these people are great. They were setting the tone. That's the rhetoric. Those are the words. Dangerous, Colombo, mafia, whatever you want to do. And I think to some degree, the Republican Party and the Democratic Party become bad words.
Yeah.
If I'm a Democrat, I call you a Republican, you're a bad person. Aren't we all Americans? Aren't we human beings? Let's move forward. Why don't we start with that premise? And now moving forward, I get a second bail hearing, which they dropped the ball on. But thank God they shut off the thing. I got new attorneys. They let me out of very, very strict house arrest. I couldn't use the phone. That's why I'm not good with computers. Couldn't have a computer. Couldn't take my kids to the bus stop. Couldn't feed my animals. Couldn't do nothing. They wouldn't. And I could have visitors, so everybody came to see me. So I put in for a job. Imagine not being allowed to work for 5 years. Prosecution says, Your Honor, he can meet people. My genius lawyer says he can meet anybody who wants to go to his house. Next day, no visitors. I have no visitors. Nobody can come here. I says, how could that be possible? I became daddy daycare. But the point is the pressure. 3 years to wait to get arrested. 5 years to wait to go to trial. Face the rest of your life. And I chose to go to trial. I thought that their pleas were unreasonable. They arrested 147 of people I gambled with. They had actually a room set up. But the pressure's there. When I started trial, I was sitting there. What the reporters wrote about the next day never happened. My God, is it that? Has the world become that? One reporter writes, I was dressed resplendent. He spent more time on what I was wearing. I don't think that was that nice of a suit anyway. But moving forward, it was nice though. So anyway, moving forward, but not that nice. Moving forward, that rhetoric, that everything, the front page of the paper, violence, Joe Colombo's up, charged with 72 counts. When you see the United States of America against the whole United States of America, and Trump has felt that sting now. He's felt it. And I don't know. I mean, the charges on the guy are ridiculous that they took him to trial for.
Yeah.
One trial, he's inflating the price of his property. He's a developer. He's going by what it's going to be worth.
Yeah.
What he thinks the value is. I noticed from when I had bail, they said this house was worth $345,000. You've been here to see that to you? Well, because they're putting it up, banks are conservative. I still can't figure out what he did. Now, do I still think, or what I would do if he was our president again or whatever? Skeptical. You couldn't really judge what he did in the past, and he tried. He did do some good stuff. Did he make mistakes? You ever get up a day and don't make mistakes? But he didn't make any fatal ones.
Right. No wars. No wars on his watch. No wars on his watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to deal with COVID. He had to deal with people putting him down. Stormy, whatever her name is, running around. Everybody running around. Just let's attack him. Why are we attacking him? We're attacking him because he's Donald Trump. We're attacking him because he's a Democrat or a Republican. What are we attacking him for? I can't figure it out. Did you?
No.
I don't think he knows why they're attacking him.
And the thing about it is a lot of people that were attacking him loved him before he ran for president. And he became that figurehead for president. And like you said, going against the grain, going against some of those higher powers, that's when you become public enemy number one. Because, Chris, if we look back in time, presidents that went against powers like the Secret Service, Kennedy said he wanted to dismantle the Secret Service into 1,000 pieces. We don't have to talk about what happened to him. Everybody knows.
Same doctor was standing by for him that killed my father. Yeah. He just didn't get to kill him.
And I agree 100% on what you said as far as like that pressure when you're under, because as we've talked about, I was under something similar for 5 years.
That's why I'm here talking to you.
And you get handicapped because you can't defend yourself. You have to sit there and you have to eat everything that the papers say about you, that the media spews about you. I was very similar. Oh, he was this, he was a murderer, he was this, he was that. But meanwhile, like you said, I'm stuck at home. I can't go anywhere. I'm fired from my job. Meanwhile, every kid on my block is at my house because they know I'm home and I'm free daycare. They can come here and hang out. How much of a danger am I?
My daughter developed child epilepsy. This is the worst thing of the whole thing. It's better now, no problems. It was from the pressure of this case. Some very inconsiderate human being told her your father's going to jail for 30 years. You're never going to see him again, and you're going to have to leave your school. When she came up the stairs to tell me the story, she's a young girl. She's a beautiful kid, my daughter now, 26. I'm proud of her. She's getting pinned as an RN. And during COVID, she chose to work on an ambulance to help people. Daddy, that's what I signed up for medicine for. I was trying to tell her, you're out there. Maybe you should, whatever. She says, no, I signed up to help people. I was never prouder in my life. She was an EMT, and you had to put so much time in.
Congratulations.
And she refused entrance to a college because of her last name. She originally went for physician's assistant. So she won the Ralph Scholar Award in that school, which is the highest honor they could give you. But moving forward, to watch her tongue swell up and her head swell up was probably the worst day of my life. Now you could say, well, if he didn't do anything wrong, that wouldn't have happened. His daughter deserves it. These are the kind of statements that people make that are wrong. Okay. Now, I watch and I listen. Now, I was not convinced this time around at that point, but this man is seasoned. He knows what it's like to be to the rodeo. He's empathetic to what other people go through now. And I believe he's very empathetic. And I pray and hope he unites this nation. Because, my opinion, he's alive out of an act of God.
100%. I agree with that.
100%. And he said it. That
Yeah.
never, I was just standing up and when he said it. Wasn't cocky. He wasn't whatever. Why else do I think he's evolved? 2 trials, mudslinging, Stormy, whatever her name is, on and on and on and on. And he took everything they had to give. And I know 2 ways to win a fight: give more pain than they could take, or take more pain than they could give. Hit him with everything. When they couldn't discredit him, they tried to kill him. Mm-hmm. They tried to kill him in front of his loved ones. Here's what bothers me beyond that. There's a structure in this country that does that. And I believe he looking to dismantle those is who he rattled. What about that poor firefighter? What about him?
Yep. That's 2 daughters.
What?
And his 2 daughters that he had to leave behind. He was protecting them, and he took them both.
That guy's a hero.
100%.
Your hatred for Donald Trump took you, this man, a firefighter, runs into homes and saves our children, saves our women. Now, men can fend for themselves. You follow me? If you're burning in your house, I run in, I'm taking your son before you.
I would want
you. Both burned to death there, so be it. But we saved the kids.
Right.
These guys would jump on a lifeboat in the Titanic before women and children. I use an example when I tell people, okay? And what does Trump say? That's what Donald Trump says. We got to take care of us first. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I use an example for very, very adamantly, and I believe this is his beliefs. And this is why he says we have to make America great. We have to take care of our own. We have to worry about us first. Our only God-given gift that we're entitled to, the only title we have is that Constitution, and we should hold it dearly to our hearts. Mm-hmm. And anybody in violation of that is an enemy of the United States, domestic or abroad.
Yep.
And I always use this example, and I'll say to you, Wade, if both our kids fell in the water, and I could only save 2 of the 3, I would save the 2 kids. If I could save 3 of the 3, I would. But if somebody's going to go before a kid, it would be me. Mm-hmm. If I could only save 1, it would be my son, not yours. I would be heartfelt, but I think you would understand that.
Yeah.
And reverse, you'd have to be a crazy person not to think that the other way around.
Yeah. Take care of your own.
Set with you that you could only save. But hopefully I drown, I save 2. Hopefully I save all 3. I think that's what America's come to now. I think Donald Trump sees it.
Well, I personally, when that debate happened a couple weeks ago, I seen a much more focused Donald Trump. I seen Biden doing more of the personal shots.
I don't want to make it personal, Biden. I don't want to make it Trump. I don't want to make it personal shots. It's just ridiculous that the leader of the free world wants to sling mud.
Yeah.
We must take this man down and out with anything and any methods possible. He said something very similar to that.
Well, yeah, at any cost, we need to stop Donald Trump. I think there was a quote recently where he said, we got to put Donald Trump in crosshairs. That is all but
was that a Freudian slip? I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't want to attack Joe Biden. He's our president. But, we all answer to God at the end of the day. And I think God answered back here.
Yeah, he did. That's a great statement. He did answer back.
That's an accurate statement.
Yeah. Going forward, what do you think? How do you think this changes Trump in any way, or does it?
I don't think it changed him. I think he's evolved.
I'm saying after this event now, going forward, do you think it changes anything?
I've coached a lot of children. I work with kids. You've met them. Mm-hmm. In business, I'm grooming them, my son included. The future of this country is the young. Yeah. I'm on my way out. We're all slipping on the same rotten banana peel.
Yeah.
That's the young, and I put the time into it. I hear people say this new generation. The next administration before might have dropped the ball. Put the time into. They're pretty smart. I think Donald Trump sees that. I think that's why he tweets.
Yeah.
That's what I believe he tweets. People make fun of it. If I knew how to tweet, I think I would tweet. So, and let me tell you something. I'm not a pro-Republican, pro-Donald toke the country. I want to see what's best for my children. And the United States is the best place for them to be. I'm not too sure of that right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay? You got to remember, I saw the side of the government that not many people saw. Every which way. And I think Donald Trump has now seen that too. Yeah. So when you say the way I speak and how I can speak, you're going to watch him speak better, more confident. He now knows who he is, and the country knows who he is, which is the best part. People are creatures of habit. On a trauma situation, and trust me, I've been shot. I've had guns put to my head. He got up. You never see him playing with his ear, asking, am I all right? You don't know if you're dying at that point. You're worried about putting his shoes on to walk properly out, but he put his fist up and he said, fight. To me, that's determination. It wasn't acting.
That's what we need.
And what I want to say to younger people in this country, forget about the nonsense. That's character. I've heard that he didn't go to war, he didn't do this, he didn't do that, he didn't do the other thing. But let me tell you something. When the heat was up, he took the heat every which way. And we're building a vessel of snitches in this country. We're going to become weak. It's the guy that does the damage gets away with it. And you never hear him blame anybody for anything. He just fired him. It's what he does. What do you want?
You're not getting the job done, you're fired. And that's how it should be.
I was on the fence. Not because of the trials, not because of Stormy, whatever her name is, not because of that ridiculous suit they brought against him. Another thing, they brought in a special prosecutor. It was a rigged game. It's unconstitutional. You can't do that. Secret documents. Everything's a secret document. What's secret documents? What is it all crazy over here? All right, great. But what do you need a special prosecutor for? If it is what it is, what do we need special for? It's a ringer. And he's going to fight dirty. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Stacking the deck. That's what they do. And
I don't like to say, my mother used to say that's what they'll get them, and they. I said, "Is there a secret organization in this country called they?" It's they. I'm not dividing a country. It's our obligation as Americans to appeal to us on a big country and vote for who they are. Not somebody that's been there like Pelosi 800 years. She's not in touch with anything. Not only that, America needs a hand up, not a handout. We're a capitalist nation. And we're enabling it by giving it a handout. Socialism is possibly, in theory and paper, the greatest economic model there is. In practice, it doesn't work. Not one country does it work. Venezuela was the leading country, and there was in everything capitalism. Donald has the right ideas. If you export more than you import, that makes sense. We're becoming a faulty corporation. Okay, moving forward. I think that lends to the conspiracy because it all boils down to money. The rest of it is all pawns. Follow me? You wanted fair elections in this country? 6 months campaigning. How could you have a president campaigning for 30 months on a 4-year thing, number one? Number two, take out the corruption, cap how much each candidate is allowed. Otherwise, the power structure is going to pay for them. Like, for instance, in the liquor years, when they were getting the money, drink, do whatever you want, run over kids, diminish the capacity, then they came down on that. Then, all of a sudden, marijuana. They put still people in jail on the Rockefeller laws. Now, marijuana is the best thing to do. You got people smoking. The vapes, don't smoke cigarettes. And they're right. I'm an idiot. But I was a victim of marketing. Because they were the lobby. They who put the money into the presidency for making money to look the other way. So we'll just put the Surgeon General tells you it kills you, but don't want to go smoke. Follow me? I'm specifying who they is, not making a general statement.
Yeah.
I don't like to do that. I'm not a conspiratist. There's a reason it is people. And we damn well know who the people are.
Oh, yeah.
If we don't, we should find out. That's for people that don't understand. And in my handicapping and training of kids, I'm able to talk to them on their level because that's how you communicate. It's not up to the person talking to you. Feelings. Everybody's smart. They're not dumb. Or everybody has the capability of intelligence. If they don't, we take even more time.
Mhm.
But for me to expect a person that has less knowledge in areas to rise to communicate to me or I condescend them, it's up to me to communicate on their level.
Correct.
I believe that. And I think when Donald talks, he does that. Now, am I a pro go USA Donald Trump? No, I'm not. But from what I've seen uh and everything I saw, he exhibited character.
Yeah. And I can tell you this. I'm sure everybody's seen the
And
photo.
that's why
Photo.
I believe they shot him because you ain't buying him.
Right.
You're not persuading him.
That photo of him at that podium doing his hands up like that. I'm getting the screen like that. That photo, I think, will go down as one of the most iconic photos in American history.
I think his resilience to after getting shot, not caring he had a bullet in his head, and he was worried about the people. His only concern was to tell the people continue.
Yeah.
I think he thought he wasn't going to be here for a split second. I've been shot. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you don't.
he wasn't unconscious. He wasn't in a state, but you could die from a bullet wound.
Oh, yeah.
You bleed out. You never see him ask somebody, how is it? Is it bad? Am I in trouble? He got up and he addressed those people. People good should have it, which lends me to believe his character is correct. It was tested under the most severe circumstances. And people react to their natural powers, abilities, gifts. A coward would have ran away.
And I think one of the
Would
things
not be on the podium for to accept the
and fist pump before he gets in the car. And one of the things that I think gets lost on people is we are talking about a man who, if he wanted to, he could go and retire because he's getting up there. He could go and retire at one of his
what is
mansions or
getting
wherever
up there mean?
with his family in age.
I don't know. The guy just took a bullet to the head, fell on the floor so hard they took his shoes off, and he's fist bumping in the air.
Yeah, he's still getting along, but
what I'm saying is better than getting along.
He doesn't necessarily have to put himself through all these trials and tribulations that he's doing. He could have went off quietly and lived a happy, very comfortable life. That's the only reason he would.
I think his dream of America he wants to make a reality.
Yeah, that is the only reason. And I told people before,
a dream with a deadline.
Yes. And I told people before, I said, you want to know why? They said, what makes you think this is the first election we're talking? They said, Wade, why do you think Donald Trump is going to do a good job? And I said, why else would he do this other than to do a good job? Do you think a guy like Donald Trump wants to remember to be a bad president? No, he's going to do everything in his power to be a good one.
I don't think that's motivation. I don't think he really cares what people say anymore.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think he cares what they say, but I think he himself wanted to do good for the country. And by all accounts, at least to my thinking, he did.
He feels he can do good for the country, but excuse the expression, he's got one arm tied to his coyotes in the press. The other arm, I don't even watch the news anymore. You can't get it straight. You watch one news, it tells you one thing. You watch the other one, gives you another version. Which is it?
Even in that, one of the headlines was a disturbance at a Trump rally. A disturbance. They didn't even want to call it an attempted assassination.
What do I care what they call it? They don't call it. What I got to tell the people you heard me handicapping, see things for what they are. Ask questions. Don't be lit. I have a personal reason I like him. That don't mean I like him for president.
Right.
See, I learned that from my father. If I don't like you and I like him, does that mean I give you wrong when you're right and him right when you're wrong? No, it's supposed to be fair. Doesn't matter whether I like you a lot. What difference does it make? This country's become you wrong because I don't like you.
Yeah.
Or you're right and you can do anything because I like you. Remember, right makes might, not might makes right. At a different time, and my father used to tell me this, Chris, life is perspective. This is the dead truth. Because I used to tell him, Dad, why do you listen to these people? He says, this is dead accurate. I may be 10 degrees to the right. This person's telling me something 90 degrees to the left. It may center me. I listen to everybody. His famous thing is, what do you think? He'd listen to everybody and make a decision. The only thing he would say is, when I did something not necessarily wrong, maybe unique or whatever, he would call me over and he'd say, why did you do that? And I would explain it. He says, at least you have a reason.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I never understood that till recent years or as I got older, because you never really understand your parents till you become a parent.
Well, and I think that's a great way to wrap up this interview. You know, listen to all sides, but then do your own research and form your own opinion, because you're
Right.
going to
Be
get
a
a lot of
human being. That's what makes America great.
exactly.
That's what makes you an American.
So I hope people got something out of this interview. They can go back and listen to some of our past interviews if they want to if they haven't heard the ones we did, get a little bit more insight on you, your background, your lineage, your father, that situation. We mentioned I'm coming up on the 16th. You want to kind of hint around to what we may have planned for that little get together?
I'd just like to say something, though. I have some advice for Donald Trump. Keep your
What's
friends close and your enemies far away. Whoever coined that statement, keep your your friends closer, your enemies closer, never got assassinated.
yeah. We probably weren't running for president either.
You know, the other thing early on that showed me character with him is he called my prosecutor was Pretender Barara. This guy used every dirty trick in the book on me. How about I got a friend of mine that set me on $5 million bail? He came to bail me out when I finally did get bail. He told him, no, you're possible you could get indicted on this case. And he had a farm. The next day, they were digging up the front lawn, but they were on the neighbor's lawn. They didn't even care. They said backhoes digging up just to intimidate him.
That is the
Could that
tactic.
reasonably be possible?
I tell you what, it's not a bad way to get some excavation done if you're trying to get some free work.
But the point of the matter is, let me out, don't let me out. They didn't want me to go to trial.
I don't know how true it was, but I heard there was a guy that said he told them that Jimmy Hoffa was possibly buried up under some farmland that he had, and he had the FBI come in there digging it up, and come to find out he knew he wasn't there. He just needed some excavation work done. He figured he'd get a little bit on the government's
Oh,
time. Yeah.
even Jimmy Hoffa would approve to that one.
Oh yeah, sure he would.
Now, I'm going to tell the young people, use your own head. Understand how your government works and what they do. Some people don't even know what an electoral vote is. And they're the ones screaming this nonsense. They don't know what their assemblyman does. They don't know what the councilman does. They don't know what Senate does. They don't even know it's innocent. They don't even know who the senator of their state is, state and federal.
Mm-hmm.
How can these people make a decision? Anything? Learn, do your homework, make a rational decision. But I'm going to tell you something. Start with character and honesty. That is the key to everything.
Well, and on that note, I do want to shout out real quick. I don't know if anybody can see this shirt I'm wearing. It says "Ban Idiots, Not Guns." This is actually a shirt from my lawyer in my neighborhood. One of my lawyers is Tom Fernandez.
Idiots, they can't be in this country.
Some of them, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Tom Fernandez running for state senate. Shout out Tom Fernandez, good friend of mine. I wish you all the best of luck on that. Chris, I'm looking forward to getting together with you on the 16th. We're going to do some great stuff highlighting what you referenced earlier in this interview about how people are rewriting history, especially movies, Hollywood, Paramount, and they're really, like you said, polluting the minds of the youth with stuff that aren't fact. It's good fiction for Hollywood, but it isn't factual.
But it affects the perception of younger people. I remember, people reference things. We're part of history.
Yes.
When you tell a lie in these things, generations later in the young, when a communist country comes in to occupy or forces, not even that communist, first thing they do is burn the books. So that while they're there, they forget their history, their heritage. That's what they do. Any rational, courageous gentleman would die for his family, die for God. Reasonable, not that crazy nonsense. Die for his country. We have a history of it. That's why I believe Donald Trump loves the country. He was willing to die for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not a Donald Trump Trumpy. I just saw things that I have to express.
Well, that's why I reached out to you to pick your brain on the subject, not to mention, like we said, the parallels of your father and what happened with Donald Trump. You are a very intelligent man. I appreciate your opinions and your input on this situation.
What I
And
hope Donald Trump does, and to be honest with you, is he makes it count for those that weren't as lucky. Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Maya Kahani, and my father.
Mhm.
You got away. God bless you and make it count.
he's here for a reason, 100%. And I'm looking forward to
I
seeing
think
what
he's
that is.
always known that. He just had a hard way to expressing it without sounding crazy.
Well, the world sees he ain't crazy now. And I'm excited to see what the next few months holds with him. I think he's going to do great things for this country. I really do. I've never been more excited about a presidential situation than I am right now, because I really think that we need somebody. We need somebody to unite this country. Is more divided than ever.
And that's what I hope he does.
Yeah. Well, Chris, like I said, I appreciate you coming on the show, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you again in person in a couple of weeks. And again, all the best to you and your family. Give your son my best as well.
Thank you, Wade.
Thank you,
Could you
ladies.
stay on it? Shut him off.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Hollywood Wade. That was Chris Colombo.
He's definitely Hollywood Wade. I spent time with him.
All right.
You know, he's quite a character, Hollywood. He's pretty smart too.